Hey guys, so today there's a news story in the gaming world that I want to talk to you guys about. That story is this year at E3, there's going to be 15,000, well, they're saying it's going to be open to the public. Selling 15,000 tickets to anybody, any consumer that wants to go to E3, you can go to E3. And those tickets are going to cost you $250 just to get into the venue to go play all the games shown at E3. Or if you go for the early bird discount, I think it's like $150 or something. Now there's a lot of stuff to talk about here, both good, both bad. And I just want to share my thoughts as to why I think some of this is good, and I kind of want to address some negative stuff I've seen. So the first time I heard about this announcement that, hey, they're opening the doors to the public with 15,000 tickets was actually through my social media accounts. And it was a negative tone from some influencers I know and some media outlets saying, oh no, this is going to be bad. This is going to make everything more difficult. And I don't understand that. I disagree. I've been to E3 twice, which isn't that much by all accounts. Veteran media people, I would say, have gone there half a dozen times or more. So I'm kind of a newbie at the E3 space. But if you're a media outlet, a respected media outlet, you already have all these relationships with software developers, publishers, and you're probably getting their games for review, and you're getting all the news straight off the press, and you've got contacts there that you usually meet at these events. So when you're media and you're going to E3, you don't just kind of walk in and go, all right, I'm just going to go play this game and this game. No, you book your appointments months in advance. So if you want to go and talk to Square Enix, or you want to go talk to Nintendo, or whatever, Atlas, Sony, you book those appointments with the PR companies that you already have relationships with, and they're going to schedule these appointments where you go, you don't wait in line, and you go play whatever new games they have there, and you can ask your questions with the PR people there. So if you're media and you're complaining, so the complaint is 15,000 new consumer, a presence of 15,000 more people will mean longer lineups. Well, if you're media, I don't know what you're doing. I don't see how that's going to be causing you a problem, because you shouldn't be waiting in those lines in the first place. You've got your appointments. You're going to be getting your games and all that. So I just want to address that, because that came across as very negative for me, and I just don't really see the point of that negativity. Now, on another side, I'm kind of confused at this announcement that, oh, E3 is open to the public for the first time ever. Really? Because I have seen a lot of people that are definitely not media at E3. Like, you've got people of all age groups. You've got kids there. Like, are the kids reporting media? I've never seen that before. So I think there were a lot of loopholes already in place to get people into E3 anyways. So it hasn't really been that hardcore of a media exclusive event like it used to be. Now, if you're not a big media company that does have all of those relationships already set up, then yes, this news probably does suck. I mean, you're probably going to be standing in line, but the lineups were already crazy. As you guys saw from headlines last year, anyone who wanted to play Zelda Breath of the Wild and didn't have an appointment with Nintendo, you pretty much had to be there in the first 20 minutes of E3 opening if you want to play that game at all during the day. The lineups were just crazy. Now, will 15,000 people more make that crazier? Well, we don't know. We don't know if 15,000 is that 15,000 more than what we had last year, or are they just limiting media passes, being more strict in who they give media passes to, and shrinking the media presence down by 15,000? And I say media loosely, I mean influencers and blogs and all that. And then they give that to consumers, monetizing their venue and all that, because now they're making more money. So we don't know. We don't know if the lines really will get longer. It probably will, though. Now, on the flip side, any consumer that is looking at this announcement and is getting excited, like, oh my God, E3 has been my dream, I can finally get into it. This is, I wouldn't recommend it. This is really bad value. $250 for a pass to E3 is pretty reasonable when you consider these massive consumer shows. Now, the price to get into E3, $150 early bird or $250. When you compare that to other conference shows, it's pretty reasonable. Even I think it's on the cheap end when you consider the big ones in the US. However, E3 is very different in the sense that you're going there to play games. You're not just going there to look at exhibits. And playing a game, you're going to want 20 or 30 minutes. So that means, and there's only so many stations you can have. So the nature of the show makes it that at $250, how many games are you realistically going to be playing? When you don't have an appointment to play these games, you're looking at easily 1 hour wait time for all those games. So assuming you go there right at opening and you stay till closing, that's about 3 days. You're probably going to be playing a dozen or so games. If you're going for like the really big games that have a lot of hype. And let's face it, if you're making your way to Los Angeles, assuming you don't live there already, paying your $250 to get into that show, it's because you want to get access to the really exciting games. So is it really worth all of that effort, your plane ticket, your hotel ticket, and your ticket? Like for an experience, yeah, do it once, but if you're expecting to like just go in there and it's gonna be a carnival and you're gonna be playing every 20 minutes, it's not that. It's going to be, I mean, it's really, it's if you're a huge gaming enthusiast, it's exciting, but just like keep your expectations down in terms of how much hands-on time you're actually going to get with games. You're probably going to meet more cool people. You're going to meet a lot of people in the industry. That's probably one of the better parts, just being surrounded by so much of the gaming world than actually having a lot of time to play it. And I also think this change of bringing in more consumers to E3 is it's a good thing overall, because it's a sign of changing times. So E3 is now over 20 years old. In fact, I did a documentary on it if you want to check it out. It's really good. It's 4 parts, about an hour long. Just check out, there's going to be a card somewhere. But anyways, it's 20 years old. And think about the model 20 years ago. How did gaming news get out? There was really no internet. Internet was not that wildly adopted. So you had this big convention show, E3. You had all the media teams going there to prepare material for their magazines, because magazines is how most gamers got their news. And then throughout June, July, that's where the gamers were actually able to get their news. And that's also that was the most efficient way for game publishers to market their game and kind of give a preview of what was coming down the pipe. Fast forward 20 years, is E3 needed anymore? No, it's not. And in fact, there's kind of pros and cons. You have so much packed into the week of E3 that publishers themselves seem to be stepping more and more outside of that week just to get attention for their games, because you get 5 seconds of a person's attention and then they're off to go see another trailer, diluting kind of the impact that your new game announcement can have. Just look at last year. We had EA and Activision. They didn't even bother with an exhibit at E3. I'm just stuttering now. And then Nintendo, they completely left. Actually, that's different. Nintendo's presence at E3 has always been the same. What they changed was their press conference, going for Nintendo Directs. And God, that was such a brilliant idea. But their presence at E3 was still the same. And that's kind of what we're talking about here. The trade show itself, not the press conferences. So back to why this is good. This is good because in today's age, it's not about getting as a company, it's not about getting your message to the media and getting them to kind of propagate it, especially not in the gaming space. I feel in the gaming space, it's such a passionate industry and there's so many passionate followers. You want to get that to as many people as you can, and you want to get that hype going. And the best way to do that, you just release a trailer on YouTube or whatever, you can do a marketing campaign outside of E3 that's probably more efficient at building hype and energy for your brand. And I don't know if this is the best example, but just think of the Switch. We have a console from Nintendo that was announced, hype was built, and it's being released without the help of E3 at all. Think about it. We got our first details of a new Nintendo console at the end of October, and it's releasing in March. That's November, December, January, February. That is 5 months, a 5-month cycle from announcement to launch. No E3 in there. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited for the Switch. So I'm saying they're doing a pretty good job, and it's not costing them an arm and a leg to do their whole E3 thing, even though they're going to be there anyway. So they're not even saving money. I'm just saying they don't need E3 for their marketing plan. So getting more consumers, that means you're getting more people tweeting, more people excited, and you're getting authentic reactions. You're not getting the media who's probably bored of this after doing it for 10, 20 years, and it's their job, it's their editors-in-chief saying, you need to go cover E3. And you listen to a lot of mainstream media journalists or editors. When they talk about E3, they talk about like they're dreading it because it's so much work for them. It's the time of the year where they have to do the most work and they have to cram in such a short time. Like E3 is not relaxing for them. Meanwhile, you look at the consumer, let's say you get a consumer with a 50,000 Twitter follower, they're going to go to E3, they're going to be excited, they're going to be documenting their trip there, they're going to be like filming the crowds, reacting, they're going to be sharing that hype with you guys, and all their followers are going to get excited, and then that just kind of cascades down. So you tell me what's better. A media article written by a journalist that you probably don't even know their name about detail XYZ of a game, or seeing the reaction of half a dozen or a few dozen influencers. Of course, both can coexist, but when you're not inviting the consumers to the show, you're not getting that other half. So it's really good to have both. Getting the media where you're getting all of your actual factual data that's been kind of digested and processed and being presented in a very clear, logic way. And then you're getting that hype, that energy from the raw, enthusiastic fans that are just like building all of that energy around a brand, a game, and all that. And that kind of goes into the topic of, is E3 dying? It's kind of been a topic of discussion for the last few years. And I would say it's maybe dying as we know it, but I see it much as it's evolving. A lot of people you talk to about E3, they call it the Christmas, the gamer's Christmas, and I even identify with that. E3, we get so much news. It's an exciting time of year for a gamer. You get so much announcement, and will that die? No, I don't see that dying anytime soon. You have all these other events that do exist in the year where we're getting more announcements, like the Tokyo Game Show, PAX. You've even got PlayStation now that does their own event, PSX. But none of those still really compare to E3. E3 is still kind of that event, that week-long event where the entire industry comes together, and there's just so much stuff going on there. That's going to take a while to die off. What I see right now happening is that it's kind of opening up to be a little bit more inclusive. And to me, that's a good thing. I'm not going to repeat everything I just said, but that's good. Like, how do you lose in that? Oh, because lineups are longer? That's good. Long lines either means inefficient floor planning, or it means that there's just so much interest and excitement for it. Which is what it is in this case. And media, you're getting your time. The media is going to get access to the consoles, they're going to get access to the games, and you're still going to get your detailed articles from your news sources. And then you've got the whole business side. They're not even on the show floor. They're all up in their lounges and in their parties, and they're doing all their business deals and doing what they need to do. So nobody is losing here. Everybody's kind of winning a little bit more. Actually, if you've been waiting in line, you're losing. That's the only person that's losing. But I'm gonna have to wrap it up. That's quite a bit of stuff already. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that this is a good move for E3? Do you think it's a good move for the gaming industry? Who do you think is negatively impacted by this? Have I missed anything? Have I not considered anything? Let me know, because hey, what do I know? Lapine Gate that shit.